Hello again, everybody. Zack Attack is here with my WWE Raw review for tonight, August 13th, 2012, aka the last Raw before SummerSlam. Overall, tonight, the go-home show for SummerSlam with lack of a build. It was probably, in my mind, the best Raw they've done for 3 hours until the end. They've had a lot of matches tonight, and at my count, we had 8 matches tonight and only 2, maybe 3 segments tonight. If you count both segments at the end separate instead of just one big segment. That's why I say 3 segments tonight. So, they're at least trying with the 3 hour walls, but like I said, they still got a long way to go to indeed have a great 3 hour wall show. But we had some great matches tonight. Some decent, maybe one really good match, some okay matches, couple squashes here and there, but indeed decent wall with action and pushing people, but still no lighter. Plus, they added more SummerSlam matches tonight, once again with little or no promotion at all. And I'll tell you those throughout this review. And we start off with, well, action. CM Punk against the Big Show. Of course, there'll be a triple threat match for the WWE Championship this Sunday at SummerSlam with John Cena. This match, it was okay opener, a decent opener. A Big Show was dominant most of the match, trying to, of course, acting like the giant that he is, beating the crap out of Punk. But Punk came back strong, trying to do his own comeback thing. Of course, won the spotlight for himself instead of Big Show taking it from him. But indeed another spotlight stealer came to the ring. No, it wasn't Cena, yet. Daniel Bryan, who's of course having his own issues, wanting to be in the title match instead of being with Kane this Sunday with a possible Charlie Sheen interference. Of course, we've been seeing them getting involved. By the way, Paulie D was the social media ambassador. Fuck that guy. Fuck Jersey Whore. Sure. I'm glad he got booed when they put his image on screen. Anyway, so we had Punk against Big Show. Bryan came out doing Punk's attempted comeback, and as Punk was ready to get the victory on the Big Show, here comes Daniel Bryan coming and attacking Punk, causing a disqualification, then putting him in a no-lock. As the no-lock was locked in, Big Show, willing an opportunity to weaken Punk further, squashed Punk's back, breaking the hold. And then here comes John Cena to the rescue. Despite Punk's apprehension to Cena being the show stealer, like mentioned, the spotlight stealer, because Punk won the spotlight on himself, being the WWE champion and all, Cena came in and stole the show from Punk, attacking both Big Show and Bryan, to of course Punk's dismay. As Cena and Punk stood tall in the ring with Big Show and Bryan out of the ring, here comes the GM, AJ, saying, Daniel, you ruined my supposed main event for the night, our first match. Well, you're going to make it up in our big main event for the evening, as you'll be teaming up with the Big Show against CM Punk and Cena. Both teams had their problems, one partner apprehensive with the other, so we'll see how that turned out later on in the evening. Now after that, on to our second match and our first match with a real ending. There was JTG in the match, the former member of Quiet Time who's gone down ever since they broke up, wanted a match because AJ was not being good as a GM. Well, not really AJ's fault. It's WWE's fault for not booking more people on the 3 hour wall. Wasting time on replays and shit. Anyway, so JTG wanted a match and he got it. And I was like, I'm an avid fan. I kind of know what spots are going to be. I kind of have a sense of what's next. I was like, JTG's next? Who's he going to face? Ryback? Well, yes, it was Ryback against JTG. Where indeed, JTG became another victim to be eaten by the monster that is Ryback. Of course, Ryback destroyed him, ate him, spat him out, and of course, want more. Feed him more indeed. Ryback wins, squash, typical Ryback squash match, beat the crap out of him, really hard. Once again, showing the WWE why everyone is scared to wrestle Ryback, and only the brave will take on Ryback and get their ass beat big time and feel it in the morning. So they go Ryback squash, let's move on. With another bit of a squash, as one by Heath Slater continues his losing streak against R-Truth, one half of the tag team champions. Of course, Kofi wasn't there tonight. And indeed, while he wasn't there, it was indeed announced. I mentioned in the beginning of the show they added more Summerslam matches tonight with little no promotion. I heard there was a tag team match to be added for SummerSlam, where indeed it was, but it ain't a triple threat tag team match. It's a one-on-one tag team match for the tag team titles as the part-time players, of course without AEW, will be taking on R-Truth and Kofi Kingston. As I mentioned, Heath Slater lost against R-Truth. R-Truth doing his flashy moves, beating the crap out of Slater. Slater tried his best, but of course, with little Jimmy at ringside, R-Truth got the victory with a lie detector. But then here come the primetime players sending a message to R-Truth, knowing that of course, as I mentioned, Kofi wasn't there tonight because he's doing promotion out in Europe or Asia or whatever they said. So primetime players beat the crap out of R-Truth, sending a big message to the tag team champions this Sunday for their match. So there you go, one of many matches added for SummerSlam tonight. The tag team titles on the line. Primetime players gets a rematch. And I think they're going to win it this Sunday. You know, I like the attitude, but I think they're going to do well without AW, really. Actions speak louder than words. Of course, their actions speak louder than AW's words about Kobe Bryant, comparing him to Dennis O'Neil. Anyway, that's what got him fired. Anyway, so they go, R-Truth wins, but doesn't win the war against the primetime players. Of course, without Kofi. Speaking of losing streaks continuing, on to our next match, which involved Tenzai, aka Albert, aka A-Train, taking on Sin Cara. Now, Tenzai's been losing to a lot of people, not just people, but smaller guys, losing twice to Tyson Kidd, and he lost again tonight to, yes, Sin Cara. Tenzai was somewhat dominant, but of course, Sin Cara did his fast moves. That's what weakened the big man. He got Sin Cara the victory with a roll-up. But you know what happens when Tenzai loses? It's butt whooping time for Sakamoto. You know those stress reliever balls? Those balls you squeeze when you're in a bad mood? Well, I call Sakamoto the stress reliever / punching bag for Tenzai when he loses. You can see that a lot lately, Sakamoto getting his ass beaten by Tenzai when he loses. So there you go. Tenzai loses again to Sin Cara. So there you go. And of course, Sakamoto gets his ass whipped yet again. Now on to our next segment, our first segment of the evening, which involved, yes, Roddy Piper. We saw him at War 1000, saw him at the other wars, but now tonight he had a Piper's Pit. But we don't know who the guest was going to be. As part of War Active, the fans got to tweak their choice to be Piper's guest, whether it's Jericho, Miz, or Ziggler, where it ended up being Chris Jericho. And what seemed to be cooking up a great Piper's Pit ended up being boring until Ziggler crashed the party. Piper came out talking about Jericho. Last time they saw each other was WrestleMania 25, and Jericho was still a bad guy. Because Jericho played a good guy before he goes bye-bye. Next week, he'll probably lose to Ziggler and go on to tour with Fozzy, as we all know. Now, Ziggler came out, like I said, after Piper and Jericho was exchanging things in an entertaining way. I thought it would be more entertaining than that, till Ziggler came in a little bit more entertaining. Of course, their match is Sunday. Ziggler talking about how Jericho can't win the big one anymore, yada yada yada. And here comes The Miz. And I kind of predicted he was going to say really. He did say really. About Piper's Pit, yada yada yada, about not being a choice, about him, yada yada yada. But then of course Piper beat the crap out of both. Well, actually not Piper, but Jericho beat the crap out of both Miz and Jericho beat the crap out of Miz as well as Ziggler. So there you go. Miz and Ziggler were both tossed out of the ring by Jericho. And during the break, AJ announced via Twitter we would have a triple threat match involving Chris Jericho, The Miz, and yes, Dolph Ziggler. Probably my man the match of the night, if you can call any match on Raw decent, or even the best match of a Raw. Anyway, very exciting match, especially in the last 5 minutes. It was indeed a beatdown for the majority of the match as Miz and Ziggler were both double teaming on Jericho. But indeed, jealousy to win over the other got the best of them. Indeed, turned into a triple threat, not a handicap match. Jericho made the comeback, waited to get the victory over Miz. But indeed, with a little help from Vicky Guerrero, Ziggler got the victory, being a no DQ match. They got away with everything. So I think I said the last 5 minutes were very exciting. The Tower of Doom move, the near fall kind of exciting. I'm looking forward to Jericho and Ziggler. I hope they put on a good match. I think there'll be a show stealer for sure this Sunday. They're gonna have great chemistry together. I think they're gonna have great chemistry. They're both like almost the same as they've been saying. Anyway, the ending came when Jericho was about to nail, and did nail, the walls of Jericho on Miz. But just at that moment, Vicky, who's gotten himself involved more than one occasion in this match, distracted the referee while Ziggler nailed the zigzag on Jericho and got the pin 1, 2, 3, giving himself huge momentum and giving him a big message to send to Jericho for the match this Sunday. Like I mentioned, I predict Ziggler will win this Sunday. I like Jericho, but as we all know, Jericho's leaving soon to tour with Fozzy and the Upward tour with Shinedown and Godsmack. So Jericho's going to end up going out, losing to Ziggler, getting Ziggler over, and of course, making Ziggler's push a little bit more bigger towards being a new future world champion. So Ziggler wins, not only beating Jericho, but literally, basically beating Miz as well, even though Miz didn't get pinned. That's the order triple threat matches. Even if you don't get pinned, you still lose. Speaking of people involved in triple threat matches, that leads us to our somewhat main event tonight, as John Cena will be teaming up with Punk. But before that, we had another tag match of another kind, a Divas match. For the first couple of weeks of Raw being 3 hours, we had no Divas match, until last week when Eve took on the returning Kelly. Why we didn't see Kelly again tonight, we did see Layla. Is that stupid that WWE sees signs that say we want Ryder? No, we don't want Ryder. But WWE sees signs for Layla? Yes, we'll do Layla, even if no one else wants her. Anyway, Layla teamed up with Caitlyn tonight, another diva no one wants anything to do with, even though she's hot, but no talent. You know, the divas don't need plastic surgery, they need wrestling surgery. Anyway, Layla and Caitlyn took on Beth Phoenix and Eve. We need new blood, please, even though they're not going to be talented. Anyway, let's make it more exciting instead of seeing the same old 3 people every fucking week. Anyway, typical diva fare, at least it was a little longer than expected. Caitlyn got a little bit of showing off to do. Of course, the gimmicks continued with a later butt shake, yada yada yada. But Caitlyn got the victory, yes, in a tag match. She was okay. But like I said, divas are long different from the days of Lita and Trish. Anyway, Caitlyn gets the win for the team, pinning Beth Phoenix. Yes, pinning the glamours on Caitlyn. Layla wins. Divas match. Blah, let's move on. To, of course, the aforementioned match. John Cena teaming up with CM Punk against Daniel Bryan and The Big Show. Both teams had partners who were indeed reluctant to team with each other. In the case of Daniel Bryan and Big Show, and CM Punk and Cena, they both had a member who was blind tagging and reluctant to tag in the person they were partnering with. Big Show and Daniel Bryan had that problem, same with Punk and Cena. It was an okay matchup, tag match, of course, sending more messages for Sunday. There was a couple moments where each guy was tagging in themselves during one guy's moment. Like, for example, Big Show's about to knock out Punk. Bryan blind tagged himself in before Big Show would just deliver the knockout blow to CM Punk. And then, of course, later on, CM Punk, yes, indeed, sent a message to Cena big time, not wanting Cena to steal the spotlight from him. Did Cena's 3 out of the 5 moves of doom, doing the big elbow clotheslines, doing the back body drop, side suplex or whatever. And yes, CM Punk was attempting to do the 5-knuckle shuffle. You can't see me. And just before he was about to finish it, Cena blind tagged himself in and one up CM Punk by doing his own move with Punk's own bulldog and knee lift from Cena. Both Punk and Big Show walked away from their respective partners because of their egotistical attitudes. But indeed, Cena did give Bryan the attitude adjustment, aka FU, for the victory for Punk and Cena despite their problems. As Cena was celebrating, Big Show came in to attack Cena. But then, of all people, Punk made the save for Cena. He told Cena he wasn't going to turn his back until the title was on the line, and he'll do anything in his will to make sure no one else walks out with the belt besides him. So Cena and Punk got a stare down, possible handshake, but both declined. So there you go. Punk and Cena wins. Of course, sending a message for this Sunday. I hope Cena loses. I hope Punk wins. Or maybe Punk can lose the title and win it again, because I don't want him to hold it the entire time before facing Rock and Royal Rumble. Maybe he can lose it, then win it again. That's what could possibly happen. But we'll see what happens this Sunday with Punk, Cena, and Big Show. So there you go. Now after that, we had a main event after the main event, even though it wasn't exactly a main event. Damien Sandow, the Martyr, taking on Christian. Now, Christian was doing okay because Sandow was on a wall doing his own little moves. But just as Sandow was on a wall, here comes Borders Clay to distract Sandow. Because Sandow attacked Borders Clay a few weeks ago. There could be another match that could be added for Summerslam with little or no promotion. But Sandow didn't let the distraction phase him. Despite Borders' attempted distraction, Damien Sandow got the victory over Christian. In an okay match. Sandow was okay, but like I said, it was an okay match between him and Christian. Now, before we get to our last segment, I told you we had Miz and we had the primetime players added, taking on Kofi and Truth for the titles. 2 more matches were added with no promotion. Miz and Mysterio for the IC Championship has been added. And also, for the pre-show on YouTube, Santino Marella defends his United States Championship against Antonio Cesaro, who I hear WWE hates him. Now, speaking of SummerSlam, on with our last segment, which was indeed the contract signing between Brock Lesnar and Triple H. Until that segment, apparently Triple H hadn't arrived yet. So Brock Lesnar came out first with Paul Heyman talking about Triple H's flight delays, yada yada yada, making excuses. And here comes Shawn Michaels, who was indeed in the building. And of course, Lesnar wanted Shawn, and just as about they may have gotten it on then and there, of course, we all know what happened later. Shawn did get Brock. Anyway, Triple H came out, signed the contract. Brock signed the contract, and once again, Brock pussing out a fight against Triple H, trying to save it for Sunday. Brock's comebacks failed. I think everyone's agreeing with that. Brock came back with a big thing, big promotion, but then it just went to shit after his Extreme Rules match against Cena. They're trying to put the pieces back together, an all-very broken puzzle with Lesnar. Trying to build back the pieces of this whole Triple H Lesnar feud. So, like I said, the whole build-up's been like kind of weak, with Lesnar being a pussy. But indeed, Lesnar ended up being not a pussy for long, even though he pussied out of a fight against Triple H yet again after the contract signing not ending in chaos. After the contract signing, the chaos occurred. And I looked at the clock when the contract started, and I was like, oh my god, it's 10:40. They're going to waste 40 minutes on this before Raw ends? Well, after that, we then had backstage shit after the contract signing. Big Show was being interviewed, but then we had an altercation in the back between Shawn, Brock, and Paul Heyman. Shawn was ready to leave. Now I thought Lesnar was going to take him out when he was walking out. But that wasn't the case. Shawn was leaving. Paul Heyman had his car blocked Shawn's way out. And then here comes Lesnar pulling him out of the car, making the camera black out while beating the crap out of Shawn. Well, you know what happened. They made sound effects and stuff and made Shawn look like he was getting attacked by Lesnar. But then after the break, Shawn really got hurt somewhat. He got crap beat out of him by Brock, taking him to the ring while Triple H was looking for him after he saw the carnage in the back that Lesnar left behind Shawn. And Lesnar beat the crap out of Shawn, gave him an F5, and put him in the shaved Kimura arm lock that sent Triple H into a frenzy, and of course, towards this match at SummerSlam. Not a match, basically a fight. I agree with Heyman. It won't be a typical wrestling match. It'll be a fucking brawl. It'll be a fight this Sunday at SummerSlam. So as Brock had Shawn in the Kimura, Triple H came out to try to save him. And Paul's like, don't step one more step, Triple H, or Shawn's going to get his arm broken like you did. Even though Triple H did not get in the ring, Brock still apparently broke Shawn's arm. I bet you Shawn's going to do a great job of selling it. Triple H didn't sell his arm injury that bad. You know that. Triple H's arm injury sell wasn't that bad. He didn't even sell at all. That's what probably what happened to Shawn. He'll no sell the injury. Anyway, Shawn was trying to sell the arm injury, like, my arm. It was carried out as we end Raw with Triple H's BF, Shawn being attacked by Brock, questioning his status to be in the corner of Triple H this Sunday at SummerSlam. Brock said last week he was going to get to Shawn before SummerSlam. Well, he did. Attacked him big time in the parking lot, which led towards an arm, a Kimura in the ring, breaking Shawn's arm. So there you go. Wall still got a long way to go with these 3-hour Walls trying to make it happen and trying to push guys like White to be on Wall again, but at least they're almost there. A lot more matches tonight than any other Wall they've had, and like one really good triple threat match. So they go Walls on the right path, but SummerSlam build still kind of weak to me. We'll see if SummerSlam's lack of build pays off this Sunday. That's it for my Wall review for tonight. See you all later. That remind you, it's X by the review from Zach. Thank you again. See you all later. Yeah.